understanding how inflation reduces your money's value. Join me as I try to figure out how much inflation is really stealing from my wallet and see if I can outsmart it. Inflation is a concept that's often thrown around in the news, but it's something that affects us all on a daily basis. Whether you're saving up for a big purchase or just trying to make ends meet, inflation can have a significant impact on your finances. That's why it's so important to understand what inflation is and how it works. Inflation reduces the value of money, leading to higher prices for goods and services. This means that the money in your wallet or bank account won't go as far as it used to. You might notice that your favorite foods or household items cost more than they did last year, or that your salary doesn't seem to be stretching as far as it once did. This can be frustrating and even overwhelming, especially if you're living on a tight budget. The emotional impact of inflation can be significant, causing stress and anxiety as individuals and families struggle to make ends meet. As prices rise, people often have to make tough choices about how to allocate their limited resources. Some might have to cut back on non-essential expenses, like dining out or entertainment, while others might have to make more significant sacrifices, like reducing their savings or taking on debt. The impact of inflation can be felt across all areas of life, from housing and transportation to food and healthcare. Inflation can also erode the purchasing power of savings, making it harder to achieve long-term financial goals. The effects of inflation can be particularly pronounced for people living on fixed incomes, like retirees or those with disabilities. As prices rise, their fixed income won't stretch as far, leaving them with difficult decisions about how to make ends meet. This can be a significant challenge, especially for those who are already vulnerable or marginalized. The impact of inflation can be felt for years to come, making it essential to understand and adapt to its effects. Inflation is caused by a variety of factors, including supply chain issues, government policies, and global economic trends. When there's a shortage of essential goods or services, prices tend to rise as demand outstrips supply. Government policies like printing more money or setting interest rates can also contribute to inflation. Global events like wars or natural disasters can disrupt supply chains and drive up prices. Understanding these causes is crucial to making sense of inflation and its impact on our lives. Supply chain issues can have a significant impact on inflation, as we've seen in recent years with shortages of essential goods like food and toiletries. When there's a disruption to the supply chain, prices tend to rise as manufacturers and retailers pass on their increased costs to consumers. This can be especially challenging for small businesses or low-income households, which may not have the resources to absorb these increased costs. Government policies can also play a role in inflation, as we've seen with recent changes to interest rates and monetary policy. The story of inflation's impact on everyday people is a powerful one. Imagine a single mother working 2 jobs to make ends meet, only to find that the price of groceries and housing has risen so high that she can barely afford to feed her family. Or picture a retiree who's lived modestly their whole life, only to find that their fixed income won't stretch as far as it used to, leaving them struggling to pay for healthcare and other essentials. These stories highlight the human impact of inflation and the need for awareness and action. One person's story that stands out is that of a friend who's been saving up for years to buy a house. Despite her careful planning and budgeting, the rising cost of housing has meant that her savings won't go as far as she'd hoped. She's had to put her dreams of homeownership on hold, at least for the time being, and is now exploring other options like renting or shared ownership. This story shows how inflation can have a real and lasting impact on people's lives, making it harder to achieve their goals and realize their dreams. Inflation has personally affected many people, from retirees who've seen their savings eroded to young families who are struggling to make ends meet. The emotional toll of inflation can be significant, causing stress and anxiety as people worry about their financial security. By sharing these stories and experiences, we can raise awareness and encourage others to take action to protect themselves from the effects of inflation. Whether it's by saving more, spending less, or investing in assets that keep pace with inflation, there are steps we can take to mitigate its impact. The major points to take away from this discussion are that inflation reduces the value of money, leading to higher prices and a lower standard of living. It's essential to understand the causes of inflation, including supply chain issues, government policies, and global economic trends. By being aware of these factors and taking steps to adapt, we can reduce the impact of inflation on our lives and achieve our long-term financial goals. If you've been affected by inflation, we'd love to hear your story in the comments below. Check out our next video for some tips on managing your finances during inflationary times and stay ahead of the curve.